So today I would like to talk about Amy Coney Barrett Part 2. And just to give you a view or an overview of what been going on, she's been confirmed for the Supreme Court. She has been facing multiple hearings from the Supreme Court, and there are a lot of files and document of texts that she has gave the Supreme Court, and a lot of people in the Supreme Court like to be calling her a liar because, like in my last video, I mentioned that she's been asked the question, do you do you actually know that smoking causes cancer? And her response to that question was, I don't know where you're going with this, but I guess kind of, yeah, I would feel like smoking does cause cancer and that stuff, but I'm not really sure because I haven't even done it, so I wouldn't know. But I agree with you, but I'm just not very sure if what you're actually saying is no very true because I wouldn't even know myself. And then there was a bunch of other questions that she pretty much tried to dodge the best she could. And I just, want to be real. I thought some of the hearings that she's had, I thought she was very, very afraid to answer on that stuff. Because if you actually watch most of those hearings, you could actually see the expression on Amy Barrett's face as nervous. And that's what she pretty much was. She wasn't very comfortable asking these or answering these questions. And, you know, she she wanted to do her best to actually dodge the questions that were, very, very important to the American people, like LGBTQ, um, Roe versus Wade. I'm not going to get into what it actually means, but I can tell you it was completely terrible what they do to children, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. Um, oh, um, what about the over 500 children that are separated for their families? Do you believe that they should be, like, reunited with their families? Or do you care for the children? That kind of stuff. Uh, yeah, a lot of the questions she was not very comfortable answering. So, in my understanding of this, I would say she wanted to do her best to dodge all the questions she was being asked because she was very uncomfortable being questioned by the court if she really agreed with all this. And let's see. There was another judge that was trying to read the documents and that stuff that she wrote, that she handed over to the Supreme Court, and he said, my colleagues, they say you are a liar. Are you a liar? And Amy Barrett, as pathetic as she has kind of been during these hearings, I'm very sure that she was trying to hide her expressions as much as she could and hide it from the Supreme Court. But it didn't really work out well because she still had that same nervous expression. Like, no, man, I am not a liar. I, I, I don't consider myself to lie. I never like lying to anybody. And what I write in my documents and my files is specifically not the kind of text that I would, go with and that stuff, but, at the same time, I feel like everything that I've been asked about is something that I would, really agree with. So I can, really agree with what's going on here. Yeah, she was pretty pathetic overall. Now, this judge had been appointed by Donald J. Trump, which is one of the stupid moves as you would expect him to be making. So now she's in the Supreme Court, nominated by Donald J. Trump. So pretty much once he gets reelected, very sure that both of them are going to do their best to actually. Donald Trump would be on the role of corrupting and dividing America, like continuing his, train on that. And Amy Coney Barrett would take away your individual rights, which, honestly, those are your rights, and the Supreme Court should not have the rights to take away your individual rights, um, the rights to get yourself like a job, or there's a bunch of stuff involved when it comes to individual rights, like LGBTQ, Roe versus Wade. There's a bunch of individual rights. I don't agree with the Roe versus Wade, though, but at the same time, I've got to respect it. There are some individual rights here that I'm not so wanting to actually feel that they're right, but at the same time, I gotta respect them. And I don't think that Amy Coney Barrett has respect for individual rights here. Like, she says she has feelings that these should be right, but is what but is she just saying that she absolutely feels that it's, completely right to feel like they're right and not, not actually, go with that feeling and say, okay, so these individual rights that the people still want not taken away, um, I'd have to say, I know it's not the right thing to do. That's the difference here. You can't say, um, I feel like these are not the right. I feel like this is the right thing to do versus I know this is the right thing to do. I can't say if I if I say for example, if I were to go and, you know, let's say I buy myself a cigarette, which I don't really smoke at all because I know it causes cancer. But notice the difference. I buy one of those and then I think to myself, I don't even know what this I don't even know what this does. Wait, if I do this, am I gonna get cancer out of this? Am I gonna get cancer out of that? No, maybe I won't realize it until the next, weeks that I'm into smoking, and then I find out that I've got some pain that's going on right now, and I realize that my voice is very, very dry and sounds, very, very messed up. And normally, what happens is when smoking can affect the lungs. I know this for a fact. I'm not going to say I feel like that because then that would just make me look stupid right there. But I know smoking affects the lungs, and normally what that means is it can destroy the voice that you are, supposed to have when you get older. And when you destroy your lungs with smoking, um, you have to get a electronically disguised voice, and a you're given like some kind of device that you press the button, and then whatever you're saying is going to be is going to be disguised through the device. And literally, smoking is very, very bad. I know that for a fact. But let's just say I realized it. I get like a doctor's report, and I figure out that I have, and he says that I have cancer from smoking. Now, let's think beforehand. If I went to a mini mart and let's say I bought a cigarette, let's say I did that, okay? Um, let's say I let's say that I thought to myself that, geez, um, I happen to have this sudden feeling that I'm gonna get cancer out of this, but I never even looked at the scientific facts that this does cause cancer and that stuff. So, I'm just gonna do it anyway because I just want to do that just to feel, relaxed and not deal with this and not deal with the stuff in reality that's going on with me right now. Like, I want to do this because I don't want to go on with the uh, the problems in this world anymore, and I'm just gonna do it. And I'm gonna say, you know what? I feel like this causes cancer and that stuff. And there's no scientific proof that people have gotten cancer from smoking, which I know. I'm smarter than this, okay? I'm just saying this is what Amy Coney Barrett would actually, be like as a judge. Okay, and I know the risks of what smoking does and that stuff. I'm just giving an example of, you know, if I were Amy Coney Barrett. Okay, and I could just, say, like, okay, so, my feeling of, let me think of something else for a second. Um, oh, okay, let me take, beer, for example. If I had, bottles like that, and I was, like, drinking and that stuff, and then I found out, like, oh, jeez, why are my bones, acting all funny all of a sudden? That stuff. Then I would feel like, you know, very, very lightheaded, dizzy, and, feel like I couldn't even do stuff anymore and that stuff. There's that saying that, oh, great, if I continue doing this and that stuff, the more drunk I'm gonna feel, and, you know, and I should have said, sheesh, beforehand, should have actually, figured out that I, you know, said to myself, man, am I gonna go with the feeling that I could get drunk doing this? Or am I gonna go with the fact that I know that I'm gonna get drunk doing this? There's a big difference there. I know means you recognize that there's going to be a negative effect with that comes along with, whatever drug you're using and that stuff, and that it's not going to be good. So you're better off saying, okay, I know that this substance that I'm using is going to have a negative effect on me, and I'm not even going to think about, you know, trying to go for it, because I know the fact that whatever I try to do is going to be deadly, and I recognize the problem, so I'm just not going to do it. And worst of all, if I were, to be drinking and that stuff, I know I'd be going to prison for that and that stuff. And I'd be better off saying that versus I feel like I could go to jail, because what you feel what is right, it's not always 100% going to be right all the time. Let's say I feel like that, I feel like that, I'm gonna use smoking again as an example. Say, let's say I feel like I think that I could get cancer from smoking. Let's say I go and did that again, and that I could, let's say I did it, let's say I got cancer, and so like, and I could wonder to myself, like, sheesh, I felt like this wasn't going to, I, I felt like this was gonna give me cancer and that stuff. I mean, my voice is so dry and that stuff. I can hardly even speak anymore and that stuff. My throat feels so itchy and that stuff. And sheesh, my feelings were right. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. I feel, I feel that I go ahead and just did this anyway and that stuff. And, I said like, sheesh, whatever I felt, I was right. I was right. Or, beforehand, um, you know, say like, uh, should I actually go with feeling that I know I'm gonna get cancer if I do this, or I know that if I do this, that I'm gonna get cancer from smoking? There's a complete difference there. I mean, I know there is that I know and I feel is very similar, but you can't always go on everything based on feelings. That's pretty much what Coney Barrett is pretty much doing in the Supreme Court. It's based about on, I feel like this is something that needs to be taken away from people because, well, that's just my feeling. I feel like as a judge, that's exactly what my oath that I have so accepted in the Supreme Court is something that I must do as a judge. Could you imagine how stupid that she actually sounds when she says that? Okay? So, yeah, long story short, I just wanted to give you people a overview on what was going on, and I'm gonna make this an Coney Barrett discussion part 2. Uh, the election day is 1 day away. Um, Coney Barrett has been accepted into the Supreme Court and is, most people would know for a fact that she would take away your individual rights. Uh, Donald Trump is on the job of dividing and corrupting America even further. And look at how many people, still die from the coronavirus. And not just the coronavirus, but also the peaceful protests and that stuff. It's like the coronavirus and these murders and protests and the killing is like working together and decreasing the population of the United States in numbers by, well, who knows how quick that the numbers of the population in the United States are decreasing. The coronavirus is claiming a bunch of lives. A lot of people, especially police, are killing a lot of peaceful protests at peaceful protesting. Like, protesters, what I mean to say. They're killing a lot of protesters. And not only just protesters are getting killed, but policemen are also getting killed. And you got the lives of many Americans that are being claimed by the coronavirus. And those people are also dying from the coronavirus as well, as much as being killed at peaceful protests. Anyway, election day is 1 day away. I have to give you people a good view on who Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is, he's only worried about himself. Electing Amy Coney Barrett was a stupid decision. I have to agree. His job, as so far as we know, is dividing and corrupting America. While Joe Biden, well, I also want to say that he refuses to recognize that the coronavirus is around. Like, Donald Trump likes to go with conspiracy theorists on what they say. And he's even gone against doctors because doctors tell the facts about how deadly this virus is and that stuff. And, he's just an absolute narcissistic idiot. And I don't know how America could deal with 4 more years of that. Now, look, on the other hand, Joe Biden would trust scientists, not call out doctors on, this is not something that I want to hear. He wouldn't call the military sucker and losers and every single American here. And Joe Biden would restore the peace here to America and hopefully stop the peaceful protests from becoming violent and the looting, if that stuff is still going on, and get the country back on track, get vaccines out here in times so that, by the time by the time next summer comes around, people could start having, vacations with their families. That people that get out of school will be able to go and do stuff and have vacations before the next school year. Joe Biden's better off being elected than Donald J. Trump being reelected. And do you actually realize how sad it is that you can't go and buy a birthday gift for your family, or you can't go to your local stores because of the coronavirus pandemic and how worse it's getting and that stuff? Joe Biden is your better choice to elect as president, and I just have a high feeling, and again, I use that word feeling, that he has, a high chance of getting elected. So, 4 more years of this Donald Trump narcissistic behavior here in America and that stuff is pretty much almost going to come to an end. If that ever comes to it, time only knows. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, Charles Morris, and I will see you all later.